Hello everybody, hello, welcome and hello. I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. We do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, that's 9 Eastern, for those who are mountain challenged. It is raining hard here, it just started coming down. Oh, I just heard some thunder. So hopefully the buzz isn't too loud. This fish warehouse we're in does have a metal roof. So just quick sound check, let me know, can you guys hear okay? Can you see me okay and all that? And then something else is, I screwed my neck up. My neck's seized up, and so I can't, it's a lot better than it was, but I can't straighten it completely. So earlier today I was literally like this, now I'm like this, so that's progress. But still, it's not quite straight, but that's just how it's gonna be. Orange cones to sound and video are all right. Good. Can hear the rain, but can hear you as well. All right. We'll just go with it then. So, sorry, but I'm gonna be a little crooked today. Hopefully this pans out soon, because this is no fun. Let me tell you what. Working with, netting fish, cleaning tanks all day, doing all that stuff with a neck that's seized up on you. No good. First time that's happened, so this is a new experience for me. Oh joy. The older I get, right? Anyway, we're gonna start with our shipping report, and then we're gonna do the giveaway. I checked just a few minutes earlier and the shipping report was not in. It doesn't look like it's in yet, but hopefully it'll come by the stream. So by the end of the stream, and I can tell you. If not, I'll have to tell you next week. There were, a few losses last week since I talked to you, that kind of like we normally have. But then this week, there was one of the very rare delays with UPS. There were several packages delayed in Memphis. It wasn't all of them, but there was a good group of them. And so there were higher than usual losses in those that were delayed. Most of them arrived in great shape, but there were, just a few that didn't. And so we have to get that all shaken out to give you the shipping report. Unfortunately, the person who actually calculates the shipping report is not available at the moment. Usually they do that, just a few minutes before we go live, so we have the latest, most accurate information for the shipping report. But right now, I think they're out and about, so it hasn't quite worked. Kids, Aquatics, and Reptiles, listening to Bob, because Bob has a background in the medical field, so knows what he's talking about. Checking the trigger point injections. I had some Monday in my neck, and it's amazing. So that's not acupuncture, that's just they find the spot and inject something into it. Heck, if this doesn't heal up in the next couple days, I'll try anything. It's no fun. But anyway, I'm still enjoying life. I'm every now and then I'll get a shooting pain that just goes down here and then boom, down my back. But as long as I keep it crooked, we'll be okay. Anyhow, so that's the shipping report. I don't have it. I know it's gonna be a little worse than usual. I'm hoping we're still ticking up towards the 99% success rate that we want, but I don't know if we'll have made progress since last stream or not. I have to wait for those numbers. So let's get to the giveaway. The giveaway is for a Betta. So let's go on a little field trip. If we go to Dan's Fish here and click on Bettas, it's for Betta Splendens, and it's anyone you pick. You can pick, oh my goodness, look at my head down here. That's not good. Hang on, I gotta fix this. That's just a little bit annoying. Okay, better. There I am. Oh, that's too much of me. We want to see more of the Bettas. Just a second, let me shrink myself down a little bit. That's probably okay. So, the winner of tonight's giveaway can choose any Betta they want. Male or female, whatever. All the Bettas right now, the male Bettas anyway, are on sale for quite a hefty discount. And the reason is we're getting out of the Betta game. And the reason for that is, So these are kind of the varieties we have available, so you can pick any of these. And if you'd rather have a female that we have in stock, that's fine as well. So we did bettas before, back when we were at our old facility, in my basement and garage facility. It was my, on my property before we moved in the warehouse, and that worked great. So we did it again thinking it would work great, but here's the problem. We're selling a ton more fish now, and we're clearing the fish out of our tanks very quickly. Back before when I had them, we didn't sell nearly as many fish, and so we didn't clear fish out of a given aquarium nearly as quickly. What's happening now is we'll sell out the fish in the tank, and then we'll be like, oh great, but there's a betta there. So before we get the next batch of fish, we'll bring in a new batch of fish, but before we put it in that tank, we have to find another place to put the betta. So we're playing betta hopscotch all the time. And it's just makes things, makes things not as smooth as they could be when we're trying to figure out where to put the new fish coming in. Now, we could sell all these bettas really quickly at full price, but to do that, this was the original plan. I would need to go take video of each betta and say, okay, here's the betta in this tank, here's the betta in this tank, here's the betta in this tank, and list them all up. So it was like, oh, what you see is what you get, right? You could see the betta you wanted on the video and purchase that one. I mean, that's the way people buy bettas. The problem is I've been planning to do that for a couple months now, and I've never found the time. I cannot find the time. And so rather than just have the bettas sit for a couple more months and us continue to play fish hopscotch, I'm going to chalk it up to, Dan, that was a bad idea. Shouldn't have brought bettas in at this point. And we're going to just sell them at like half off. So we don't play betta hopscotch anymore. So that's what happened there. I just tried something that had worked in the past without taking into account how different things are now, thinking it would be as easy as it was in the past, and it's not as we scale up. So they're awesome, they're healthy, they're really cool, beautiful. Some of them are very expensive bettas, but yeah, we need to move them on. So that's what we're doing. A very rare, dare I say, like almost never sale here at Dan's Fish, just to free us up from the hopscotch problem, musical bettas. So if you would like to win any betta that we have, you can choose the type that you would like. Then hashtag betta will get you entered. Remember, betta has two T's. It's not beta, alpha, beta. It's not that. It's betta. So B-E-T-T-A, hashtag B-E-T-T-A, no spaces, caps don't matter, and that will get you entered to win the betta of your choice from the Dan's Fish website. And we like to shake things up here. We usually don't do the drawing until the very end of the live stream. First of all, that's just kind of tradition. But second, it's one of those things of like, you want people to keep watching so you don't draw till later. But every now and then we want to shake it up to give people that are here early and show up at the beginning and don't just chime in at the end for a chance to win. We want to reward the people that are here for the long haul. So I'm going to draw this in just a couple minutes, really, so the early birds can catch a worm. Mandy Boyd, thanks for joining up. Welcome to the Fishmonger crew. Your membership means a ton. That little recurring revenue, that tiny amount of recurring revenue every month adds up and is very much appreciated. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's very helpful and very supportive. With that, let me tell you what's been going on here at Dan's Fish, and then we'll get to your questions and comments. So we've been working on a few things. We're still nailing down the machine we want to purchase to help us seal our bags quicker. One of the big bottlenecks in our process is, time-wise, is how long it takes us to seal the bag. So we use these, you've probably seen it in videos, it's this little handheld heat impulse sealer, has a handle, and a base. And you put the bag in, you press down on this, it seals, you lift it up, take it off, your bag's sealed, right? But that's a lot of wear and tear on someone's shoulders and elbows and wrists and things, doing that all day long, that motion. So there are some machines we've found that can do that in a way that will be a lot easier on a human body and also a lot quicker. So we're working on that. That's the next piece of equipment that we want to purchase to help relieve our crew, you know, as far as, well, it's not just the crew, I bag fish too, but make it so that the human body is less worn down by working here, and also make it so that we can do more in less time. And I think both those things will be accomplished by this one piece of equipment. Bentley Pasco says, I have to get to Bentley and then I'll get back to what's going on here at Dan Fish. Hope you're getting prepped for the panel of the Keystone Clash, Dan. I expect you to know more than me about rainbows. Yeah, I can talk about sourcing, importing, care, breeding, raising, that kind of stuff. When it comes to like the latest description of the new species and the latest name and who found this one 10 years ago and then 2 years later someone else went to a new location and found the same species in a separate location, all that kind of super bowhead nerdness, that I'm not going to know. But I can talk about rainbows. I feel like we need one person on that panel, though, that's like a Johannes Graf or Gary Lang or, I don't know, Hoon Aquatics even, who knows kind of that backstory on the discovery, collection, and description history of each species. But, you know, I can talk about them. Anyway, back to what's going on here. So still sourcing that piece of equipment. Had a new import come Monday. We landed several new fish. It was going to be a much bigger import, but a lot of the fish were shorted. So what I expected to be a pretty massive import ended up being a decent size import. But I have great news. One of my favorite hobbyist breeders is going to be bringing a whole bunch of fish up this weekend. I'm very excited about these. In fact, I should tell you what they are. Hang on, let me bring up this list. This is stuff I'm very excited about. And I have a rule that I don't ever share what's coming and what we are going to have available until it's actually available. But I'm excited about these, and this source is so good that I'm confident they're all going to live. This seller is amazing. So hobbyist bred and raised orange Venezuelan cories, hobbyist bred and raised CW10, that's the gold laser cories, hobbyist bred Sterabis, Weitzmanni, Corydoras Weitzmanni. That's one you don't see very often. Let me show you guys this. So this fish was a ghost for a long time. No one could find it for a long, long time. And it was a holy grail for sure. And then it got collected in the wild. Oh, look at that. Success with the holy grail, Corydoras Weitzmanni. Then fairly recently, it was collected in the wild and brought in. It's a beautiful little strongly saddled cory. These really dark blotches, nice contrast to the base color. Like a Panda Cory Plus, I suppose. Turns out, and they were super expensive when they first came in a little while ago, but it turns out they're very hardy and very easy to breed. So there's a lot more available now, a lot more people are breeding them, and so the price has gone down quite a bit. So they'll be much more affordable than they used to be. Celestial Pearl Danios, from the best source I've found ever. This guy breeds amazing Celestial Pearl Danios. Nana Acara Anomala, little like Smiling Dwarf Acara, I think is what that one is. Not Apistodorus, Apistogramma / Corydoras, Apistodorus. What a mashup. Aspidorus spilotus, great little catfish, just like a Corydora pretty much, but a little more slender and very active, like a super the Danio of Corydoras. And then Amatelana notolutea, or cichlid that's hard to get. So that is what's coming, and I'm very excited about it. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Oh, had a little hair in there. It was just like tickling the side. No good. That's what we call a human moment on the live stream. Cheers, everybody. Mitchell Broom. Aspidors are the spastic little cousins of corydoras. I love them. I love the energy, and I think that they're the easiest corydoras type fish I've ever had as far as breeding goes. I know Aeneas and Paleotis and all that are simple. These are easier. I did nothing. I just had a sponge filter. They swim down the pipe of the sponge filter because they like high flow. They lay their eggs in there. Nothing predates on them because they're down in that high flow. And I don't do anything. The babies just come out when they're done. The parents don't seem to really eat them. As long as you don't have other types of fish in the tank, a lot of them will live, and they just raise up in there. Little clump of Java moss on one side, and you're good to go. So, yeah. Aspidors, amazing little fish. So anyway, that's happening. So that's kind of what we've been doing, trying to source equipment to make things more efficient, as well as, man, my nose just started running, sorry. It's a banner day. Seized neck, sniffly nose. Yeah, welcome to my world today, I guess. Anyhow, that's what we've been working on. Apart from that, we're hiring. So we're doing two things. We're really looking for a fish happiness associate. That's someone to care for the fish, feed the fish, help us prep fish for shipping, help us pack fish and ship fish. And that's the operations side of things. So if that's something you would like to do, it's definitely an in-house position. I don't know how you'll feed fish or pack fish or ship fish, you know, via Zoom. You kind of have to be here in person. But we're in Sheridan, Wyoming. So if you're free to move and that's the kind of thing that interests you, send us an email with your cover letter and resume to hello@dansfish.com. Or if you can't remember all that, go to the YouTube channel, click on the community tab, and here is the infos. Here's all about the position right here. I do want to say we're a startup company. This is an entry-level position, but there is a lot of room to grow. This company's growing a lot. Our annual revenue has doubled every year for the past 4 years. It's on track to expand quite a bit again this year. And so we're growing. So it is an entry-level position, but there's a lot of room to grow. So it could very easily turn into a leadership position for the right person. So we're hiring that. Also very exciting, we're working on getting some veterinary help in-house. So we have some veterinarians we're interviewing to come in and work with us for a while to help us. We have a veterinarian that's on retainer right now, and we send fish to them and they work them up, and if they need to, send them to the lab and let us know what's going on. But there's a delay there. They're not in-house. What we're looking for, and there's information they don't have because they're not experiencing the fish in person. Like, they aren't seeing the tank. They don't know the group of fish. They haven't seen how its behavior has changed over the last few weeks or whatever, right? So the only information they have is, you know, what they see when they work the fish up. Having a veterinarian in-house to help will be awesome, I think. I think it's going to make it so we can get, hey, look at that group of fish suddenly seems like it's having a problem. Let's check it out. And we can check it out and help the fish more quickly. One of the frustrations with how we're doing it now, the rain is so loud here. Holy cow. Hope you guys can hear me. One of the frustrations, though, is there's a time lag. And so if something severe hits a fish tank, then sometimes we won't get the results back until a good portion of the fish have already been affected. So we want to pace that up. So we're dead serious about trying to be a company that treats fish humanely and is worried about fish health and tries to get you only healthy fish ever that will thrive for you. And so we're gonna, yeah, that's Rain, Bat Pappy 52. So we're gonna try to see what we can do in-house. It's not gonna be a permanent position, not yet anyway, but if someone can come and spend a while with us and help us learn more about our fish and the problems they have from different sources and the types of things that we could possibly have going on, like just increase our repertoire and our awareness of what's going on, then I think it's going to be worth it. So that's what we're doing. I'm very, very excited about that. So those are the two positions that that we're heavily seeking right now. And we're really hoping to find the in-house person to help with operations. The Fish Happiness Associate is the term for that. That's what we call them. Geez, yeah, this storm is really coming. If it adds to the ambience, okay, good. Like, it's very loud, so I'm just glad I'm glad you like it, Mel. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this drawing. This is for the betta of your choice from the Dan's Fish website. You can pick any betta you want, male or female, anything we have in stock, as long as it's betta splendens. It doesn't apply to like wild type bettas and such. So the early bird winner of a pretty fantastic betta is Theron Handel. Theron Handel, congratulations, you have 2 minutes to claim your winnings. It's 8:22 now, so we'll give you to 8:25 because I'm not sure, how far into the 22-minute mark we are. So we'll give you to 8:25 to chime in. Let us know you're here in the chat. And if you do that in 2 minutes, then you will have won, and we'll tell you how to claim your winnings after that. While we're waiting, though, let's go ahead and get to folks' questions and comments. First of all, David White, a new member. Hey, David, welcome to the Fishmonger crew. Thanks for joining up. We appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's really helpful for a small startup business to have recurring revenue every month from membership, so appreciate it. Lizzie LaBelle, do you have any females for each strains, or are they just basic females? Looking for some specific females. I'm assuming we're talking about bettas. So we have crown tails and double tails, all different varieties and colors. And then in another tank, we have some fancier females, lots of types, some kois, some, I think like maybe black samurai females, some yellow mustards or green mustards, some mustards of some kind, and some other stuff. But this isn't one where in the female sorority type thing, it's not one you're going to be able to select a specific female, a specific type. We can do that with males though. You can pick a specific type from the website if you win. All right. Oh, I forgot to thank my moderators. Thank you, moderators. Thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all. I'm trying to figure out how to read this, how to say this. Nabokov fan 87. How do you handle or monitor live bears, swordtails, when you feel like they should have had fry, but you haven't seen any fry? Female might not be square anymore, but in a breeder box. That happened to me when I was younger and first starting. I would be like, she's about to pop, and I put her in, and nothing would happen. And I'd be like, oh, she just had a big dinner, and I was excited. So I don't know. If she's squared out and it's her time to give birth, and then she's not squared out anymore, then the only thing I can think of is that she ate them, and that can definitely happen. I don't know if you have like the slotted trap at the bottom or exactly what kind of breeder box you have, but if she's in a box and she has babies and she has access to the babies, she could definitely eat them all. That's a fairly frequent occurrence, I would say. Ryan McHenry, Dan, thanks for the perfect delivery on Tuesday, Kalitawas. Oh, I'm glad to hear they arrived. And man, I hope they've colored up for you. If not, I can't wait to see your reaction when they do. That has got to be the prettiest little mini rainbow to hit the hobby in the last couple years. That thing is gorgeous. So good choice, and I hope they do well for you. And I'm happy to hear they arrived in good shape. Bathy Phila, you ever have problems with wild type Xiphophorus melting, for lack of a better term, basically wasting away over a few months? And if so, have you found a solution? Yes, I've had that problem with wild type Xiphophorus. I've had that problem with domestic types. So Xiphophorus, for those that don't know, those are swordtails, platies, fish of that nature. And I've had that happen with lots of fish that aren't live bearers. And what I used to do is shotgun medicine. And I try a medicine and be like, nope, that didn't work. Try a different medicine. Nope, that didn't work. Try a new medicine. Hey, that one worked. Or try all the medicines I have. Still nothing worked. Don't know what's happening. Now that I work more closely with an aquatic veterinarian, what I do is I send the fish to the veterinarian. They diagnose it. If they can't, they send it to the lab. They diagnose it, and we work based on the diagnosis. That's the best solution I've found. It is an expensive solution. And that's one reason our fish are expensive. And that's one reason our live bears are expensive. We've been working like a Dickens to figure out how to get healthy live bears to people. Platies, swordtails, guppies, mollies. And I think we've cracked a lot of that code. So I'm pretty happy about that. But that took a lot of working with a veterinarian. That took the expense of sending things to a laboratory for specific workups. And if you're if that's the kind of fish you're way into and you're repeatedly having problems, it might be worth biting the bullet, seeing if you can find an aquatic veterinarian that'll work with you, and trying to get a diagnosis. Now, it's hard to do because generally, there's not very many aquatic veterinarians around. There just aren't. So if you can't find that, then the best thing I've found is to try a medicine. And the way I go through that is, what are the most common things I've seen in my experience with fish that have something similar symptoms to what this fish is presenting? And what medicines treat that? Okay, I'll start there and try those first. If they work, great. If not, okay, what's the next most common thing that causes what I'm seeing? Okay, I'll treat for that if it's a different medicine, right? And so just kind of go through. So that's kind of how I approach it. I also factor in what's the easiest medicine to use and what's least likely to destroy the ecosystem in my aquarium. There are medicines that will wreak havoc on the balance in your aquarium. I mean, any medicine will do something, but there's some that are much harder on your system than others. Like any gram-negative bacteria, for example, will probably kill your nitrifying bacteria population, and woof, that's no good. And also when you use antibiotics, then you get funguses and protozoans booming in population because the bacteria that they were in competition with are now gone, so there's all these resources available to them, so the balance gets out of whack. So sometimes I factor in that as well when deciding on a medication. But really that's it, Bathy Phila. It's try to work with a professional that can accurately diagnose, and barring that, diagnose as best you can, and trial and error. And unfortunately, I don't know how else to do it. Spinster Sister, there's a bug going around. I got it and had your symptoms. Yuck. It seized up your neck? I don't think I'm actually sick. I just think it's like, I don't know, a random thing. But I'm sorry to hear that you were sick. No fun at all. Orange Cones, wait, what? You have fish, Dan? Spinster Sister, would it help if we sent our resume with a few pizzas and wings? Oh, it wouldn't help, but I would enjoy the pizzas and wings. No, don't do that. Yeah, I appreciate it. But no, when it comes to like just having fun, then every now and then someone will send us something like a delivery of a box of donuts or whatever, and that's always fun. But when it comes to, no, I'm applying for a position and something professional, keep it professional. Yeah, no bribes. Chance Larson, hey Dan, I mean, we're gonna hire, it's strictly merit-based. We cannot afford to hire any less than the best we can. That's just not gonna make any sense for us. So I'd hate for someone to spend time and resources trying to increase their chances when that really won't increase their chances. It's really down to, after doing our pretty long and arduous process when we hire, we're very careful about who we hire. Okay, who do we think is literally gonna add the most to our company? That's how we make that decision. That, and is easy to get along with. We have a zero jerk policy here. We just don't hire jerks, and if we do, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna last long. The culture here is very important to us. Chance Larson, hey Dan, did I miss out on the Sunrise Platies, or are they in quarantine? Yes, you missed out on those. I am trying to get more in. In fact, I was talking to that supplier today about a new group that I'm trying to get in. I don't think they had those available this time. I tried to get them, let me look at their text. This last time, and they shorted them. We did get a nice hyphen yellow tuxedo in, and we did get a nice, oh, you know what? We did get the hyphen sunrise in, I think. Yeah, I think they did come in, and I think they are in quarantine. I get them confused. There's the hyphen, and then there's another one that's very close. And yes, I think we do have them. I got a little confused there. I'm trying to get some others, though. Let me just look here. Yeah. Sorry about that. There's a couple types that have very similar names to that. And so I got a little confused, but I believe that is the one that we have in. Sunrise Platies, yeah. And they're doing great, and so I would expect them to be out of quarantine and ready to sell in about 2 weeks. They just came this week. Right Guy Outdoors. I lost one of my silver dollars this week. He was the size of my hand. Oh, I'm sorry, Right Guy. That's always rough, especially if it's a fish that we've had for a while or raised up from the time they were a wee one. So I'm sorry to hear that. Keystone Clash, hello at Dan's Fishing, everyone. Well, hello, Scott. Hope you're doing well. Good to hear from you. Looking forward to meeting you in person and to participating in your event. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. Kelly Foreman. Ow. Jesus hurts. Ow. Oh, Kelly. Laughing hurts. Kind of disappointed you didn't reschedule the rainstorm for us, says Kelly, with a generous super chat. Thanks. Oh, by the way, thank you for this. Look at that. That is bulbitis. Like an awesome, massive bulbitis. Courtesy of Kelly. Thanks, Kelly. That really does add a nice green to that tank. We appreciate it. Now it's like, now if I kill that, I'm going to feel horrible. I'm pretty good at killing plants, but bulbitis is tough. I should be all right. I should be all right. Oh, no laughing tonight. Ouch. Okay. For anyone that wasn't here at the beginning, my neck's seized up, so if it looks like I'm, a little off kilter. That's because I am. Oh, hang on, chat jumped, so I've got to scroll up. You know, I should take just a moment and thank everyone who's listening on the podcast. Thanks for being here. I know a good portion of this is visual when I'm showing pictures and all that, but I appreciate you being here anyway. Hopefully I'm helping your drive or your water changes or your, stuck at work go a little better. Hopefully it's making the time go. Spinster sister, keep your weather radio on and leave if you have to. Oh yeah, it's like good go to sleep sounds, right? The rain hitting the roof. It's kind of dissipated now, so that's good. Nabokov fan 87, that bug you had last week of the MSG not showing up. Maybe you need to change from top chat to all chat in your streaming site software. Huh. Oh, by the way, someone, I totally forgot that we had a winner. Theron Handel, you're the winner. Thanks. Theron Handel has responded in chat. And just send us an email, hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. We need your first name, your last name, your mailing address, and whatever betta you picked. So you can pick any betta from the website. If it's Betta Splendens, let us know which one you want, and we'll send you one of that type. And congratulations. A lot of them look really good. There's some real stunners, so I think you'll like what you get. Thanks for participating. I appreciate it. Jacob Metzner, stoked for the Rio Atoyac, I think that's right, Atoyac tomorrow. Strongest recommendations regarding husbandry and breeding. Well, they're a wild type swordtail, so the main thing is keep the parameters good. And I don't mean like the pH perfect and all that perfect. What I mean is no ammonia, no nitrites, low nitrates. Wild type swordtails come from flowing water off the banks, off the mountainsides, right? And so it's pretty fresh, clean water where they're from. So I think do that. And then as far as breeding, these guys are really easy to breed. They've dropped fry in our tanks and they didn't eat them. Well, they might have eaten some. That tank doesn't have a lot of plants in it either. It's just got a little thing of Java moss and one little floating water sprite. It's not like a mass of plants. If we had a mass of plants though, I bet we would have had like almost 100% survival of the babies. So I would suggest enough Java moss to choke like a quarter to a third of one side of the aquarium, top to bottom if you can. That way the fry can get in there and they can go up to eat or go down wherever they want without being exposed. Some kind of plant cover like that would be really helpful. But apart from that, so these, I've had wild type swordtails in the past that were really difficult. These have been easy. The source is a hobbyist breeder in Europe. So we brought these in from Europe. There's a group of hobbyists in Europe that every now and then will sell their fish. And I was able to bring in some stuff from them. These come from that stock and it's hardy. So I don't think, we keep ours at 79 degrees. Our water happens to be super hard and alkaline, which for live bears is pretty good. But honestly, I haven't found them to be a challenge at all. They eat everything they have from the get-go. Like, they have not been, I would say the main problem you might have is caring too much and treating them with too much special care and, killing them with kindness. I've done that. I tend to do that too. Like, there's a fish I really like and I've wanted forever or is expensive or something. I get in there and I fret, right? I'm like the helicopter parent, if you will. Come on, eat something. I'm that. And I'm always fretting and messing around, trying to make things better. And I think usually I end up doing harm that way. So I've learned to kind of chill, especially if it's an expensive fish or one that's on my bucket list or something. Okay, Dan, calm down. Just treat it like every other fish. It's better that way. So that's my thoughts, Jacob. Outside in Aquatics. I need some clown killifish. Will you guys ever get them? Outside in Aquatics, I wish I could help you. I can't. I have tried clown killies from every source I know, big industry suppliers down to hobbyist breeders. I can't keep them alive. It hurts me to say that. It's almost, I don't want to say ashamed to say it, but that's one of my favorite fish of all time. I've kept and bred lots of them over the years, but I can't keep them alive here. And I couldn't keep them alive back in my house. And I have no clue why. So I can't bring them in because it would just be a death sentence for those guys. So I don't know what else to say. Let's see here. If Steenfod Aquatics has any, he used to sell a lot of them and he had really good luck with them. So that would be my best idea. Try Steenfod Aquatics. I know he's occasionally selling some fish again, but I don't know if he has those currently. Punchy Pink's reminding folks to put their stuff at Dan's Fish so it turns bright yellow. See these bright yellow boxes? That's what I'm gonna respond to. If you haven't done that and your question is not bright yellow, then I'll probably not see it. I'll assume you're just talking amongst yourselves and having a conversation with someone else in the chat and are not trying to get my attention. So I respond to yellow boxes, yellow, orange. Jeez, colors are hard. Here comes the rain again. Falling on my head like a memory. Dave's Aquarium thoughts. Hello, what's your thoughts on freshwater clams in the aquarium? Thanks. I love them, but I've never really had good luck with them. The idea is endlessly intriguing to me. Like a natural filter, right? A natural kind of water clarifier. Now, I should preface this by saying I've never really tried them in earnest, but I've worked at a few shops and wholesalers that would bring them in on occasion, and it never went very well. Here's what I think you need to do. I think you need to get a tank with a deep substrate, something that they could burrow into easily. Maybe a sand would be good. I think you need high flow in the tank. And you need a lot of food in the tank. So that's the combo, I think, to make that work. So the idea is awesome. I'd love to do that and one day put bitterlings in there and spawn them in the clams, but I haven't really dug into it seriously. And without doing it seriously, I don't think you'll have success. Based on what I've seen happen anyway. Leo209 Aquatics. Getting the tree of Apistos tomorrow and the 4 Pandagara, which go into the 75 with the puffer and rainbow. My question, for the Apistos, can I breed them in a flex 15 or 20 long better? I think either of those would be fine. There's plenty of Apisto breeders who have bred Apistos in 5.5 to 10 gallon tanks. I would be more comfortable with a 20 long, at least until you know your fish. Especially, okay, my best tip for Apistos, I'll be brief because I've said this before. If this is your Apisto aquarium, divide it up into thirds, where those two lines are, right? Now that can be with big groups of plants, that can be with rock work, that can be with hardscape, or it could be a ugly utilitarian divider. It doesn't matter, but divide the tank into thirds. So you have three separate little territories, right? This way, if a couple of them claim one territory, the other Apisto has some places to go and get away. What we're trying to do is create the structure of the tank in such a way that everyone has a territory, but no one is unable to get away into a kind of separate territory if they're threatened and they need to, chill a little bit. So that's, and I think that's easier to do in a 20 long. Now, could you put 3 of them in a 5.5 gallon and have good luck? You might, but Apistos are kind of individualistic, and every species of Apistos acts differently, and Apistos breed differently. Some have a strong pair bond, some are harem spawners where there's one male with a whole group of females, and any other male that enters that territory is going to get killed. There's all different strategies for Apisto reproduction. So until you get yours and actually get to know them, I think the 20 long divided into 3 distinct territories is a good way to start. And across the back, if it's like densely planted or Java moss or something, so if someone really needed to, they could just disappear. I think that's great for apistos. They're great little fish, but every now and then they really can go aggro and just everything will be fine, and then 3 months later you'll walk in and be like, dude, she killed him. Because those little females can kill the males. Or, dude, he killed her, right? It just, yeah. So I'd get to know them first. Mr. B's CPDs. What days do you ship? Is it possible to request a certain day without it being an inconvenience to you? Our main shipping days are Mondays and Wednesdays. We don't really like shipping after Wednesday, and the reason is if I ship to you for Thursday delivery and they're delayed, for Friday delivery, sorry. If I ship out Thursday and they're supposed to arrive to you Friday and they're delayed, they end up sitting in a UPS warehouse somewhere or on a tarmac at an airport or whatever all weekend long and won't get to you till Monday. So I don't like sending fish out later than Wednesday. If Wednesday's the only day you can receive fish, then sometimes we can ship out on Tuesday. But often what happens is we're so busy picking fish Tuesday for all the orders that have to go out Wednesday that sometimes we can't do that. But if you would contact Johnny at hello@dansfish.com, that's HELLO@dansfish.com, and let him know what day you'd like to receive them, he can work with you to see if we can do that or not. Emily Richmond, I am located in Sheridan. Well, hello, Emily. If I were to purchase fish from you, could I pick them up? Yes, that's exactly what you do. Yes, Emily. In fact, if you email us, hello@dansfish.com, we will email you back a code that you can enter at checkout so you don't have to pay shipping. I can't give that out publicly because then people will order. I don't know why people do this. They'll place the order and they'll enter the code even though they're like in, I don't know, Miami, Florida. It's like, okay, so you put in the code for no shipping. You gonna come pick them up? Like, what's the plan here? No, I just thought if I did that, maybe you wouldn't notice and you would send them without me paying shipping, right? Yeah, we don't really like dishonest people around here. But Emily, if you email me, then I'll send you the code and then you can pick them up. Yep. So you place the order, you put your code in at checkout, and then we get back to you and work out a pickup day. Theron Handel, thank you for all you do for the hobby and these giveaways each week. Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here and for participating. And in fact, and for winning, I had to double check. I was like, didn't Theron just win? Yes. Congratulations, by the way. Thanks for being here. Nick Everett, sir, how would your apistos do in hard 8 pH water? Thanks. Great, because that's what they're in right now. Our water here is super hard, and pH is like 8.4, 8.3, something like that. Ooh, let's see here. There's a disturbance in the forest here. Is that there? That's a little more even up top, isn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna call that good. I could play with that all night. So yeah, Nick, any fish you get from us is currently in super hard, like very hard, 300 parts per million calcium carbonate, that's KH, 300 parts per million, that's super high, and high pH water. Now, that being said, they'll adjust to soft water and acidic water and all that. We send fish out to people with all kinds of water types all the time. So they've been toughened up, they're good to go, so they'll be fine for you. MT, hi Dan. I was wondering what you're feeding the lamprichthes. Oh, not lamprichthes, sorry. Lamontichthes cowboy whiptail catfish. They're actually really easy. So we do feed them bloodworms, but only occasionally. They'll eat Hikari massivore delight pellets, they'll eat algae wafers, they'll eat extreme, is it scrapers? Yeah, I think the extreme pellet that's kind of veggie is called the scraper. We feed them that. Yeah, they're used to aquarium foods at this point. So as long as it's on the bottom and they have a lot of time to chew on it, they'll be fine. They're not a quick eater though. They're kind of like a pleco or farowella. They like to rasp for a while. Orange cones. What are those yellow and orange fish behind you? Blast from the past. Yes, yes, yes. Those, actually, so this is the fish orange cones is referring to. We used to have a bunch of these in an aquarium behind me at our other location. They're the gold roseline barbs, and I love these things. They're so pretty and so highly variable. Some are completely white with red lips, some are gold with bright orange or red on them. Here's a pure white one. This is one that's mottled. They change color as they grow. Some stay gold and yellow, some start that way but then get a little mottled as they grow. Some get very mottled. So here's an adult. This is probably a 4-inch fish right here that kept its gold and yellow. These were all gold roselines when they were little. This one kept most of its gold in orange or red, whatever you want to call it. This one got a lot more melanin in, but has accentuated red still. And then this one developed kind of like a piebald mottled pattern. I love that fish. I think it's one of my all-time favorites. The variability and just the brightness, and you can get a group of them. If you got like a dozen or two of them in a large tank, you'd have a wide variety of fish that were all pretty, all really neat. So that's why I like them. Bathyphylla, thanks for the tips on treating Xiphophorus. I have no problem with my Limia or Godeids, but despite trying multiple species, I've never been able to establish Xiphophorus colonies. Okay, I've got a suggestion for you, just a sec. The easiest wild type Xiphophorus I've ever had is Xiphophorus milleri. These guys. They're a little bright gold, naturally, this is their natural color. Xiphophorus, males have a black gonopodium and they have this black spotting on them. There's a little male and there's a female. They are super hardy and they breed like crazy and they do not eat their babies. We have a colony and it's crazy how many babies are in there. Now granted, a quarter of the tank is just a clump of Java moss from top to bottom. And there's water sprite floating in the tank and stuff like that. But even before that, when there's just a little bit of Java moss before it grew into its in its current state, lots and lots of babies survive. So that is one to try. We have lots in stock. Well, we have lots. How many are listed? We have 4 pairs right now available. We're about to divide up the colony. So I asked Johnny to not list too many right now because we're going to select our breeders for the new generation, move them to a separate tank, and then we'll have a batch to sell after that. But I want to select my breeders first before we sell too many of them. Anyway, easiest one I've ever had. Like I can't stop them breeding. Let's see here. The Atoyaks, is that Atoyak? The Atoyak swords have been very hardy as well. And they dropped fry and the fry lived without us doing anything and not even having a breeding setup set up. So a breeding setup established for them. So I don't have as much experience with them though. Yeah, I would say those Xiphophorus milleri, the Catamaco live bearer, I'd be very surprised if you didn't have success. In fact, Bathyphylla, give them a try. If you get those from me, and if within, I don't know, a month, they haven't, if you're not having luck after having them for a month. I mean, if they aren't healthy and happy and all that, let me know and I'll refund your money. Like, I really think you'll do well with those. That's my suggestion. And I want to see you succeed. So if Xiphophorus is something you want to try and you're having no luck, try those, and if you have any problems within a month, I'll refund them to you. I'll refund your money. Kelly Benage, your interview process will always be one of my favorites. It was super fun meeting you and your team. I was able also to meet a lot of those, a lot during those 3 days. Hey, thanks, Kelly. Yeah, we're looking, when we hire, we're looking for lots of things. And by the way, there's lots of people we've brought out that were great qualifications. Like, it's just, we have to pick among the great people, right? It's a good problem to have. But we want to know, a lot of people have this idea of what it's like to work at a fish business. So we want you to actually know. So we bring you in for about a week and we work with you and you go through a whole shipping process and you get to know, oh, this is real work. And it has to be done a certain way in order to have the kind of success we have and have that continually, right? So we introduce you to all that. And we also just want to see if personalities mesh. Like I said, we have a place right now where everyone enjoys coming to work. We don't have fights among people in the company, aren't fighting or anything. And there's not this constant drama or anything like that. And we're going to keep it that way. So that's a big thing for us, is our culture. I am never, ever again going to work in a place where I don't want to go every morning and work. And so we're looking for those things. Who is going to just be an awesome worker, efficient, accurate, and who really cares about our mission? That's paramount. Because if you don't care about our mission, there's no point to work as hard as we work doing what we do. It's just, it's not worth it at all. So, passionate about the mission, does a good job, and is reliable and honest. Honest is huge. A whiff of dishonesty and we're done. Integrity is huge. So those things. And then the personality. And I'm not saying you have to come be bubbly, and I'm not saying there's any one personality we're looking for. What I'm saying is we want someone that we all enjoy working with and who enjoys working with all of us. That's it. There's a lot of different personalities that fall within that. And the only way I know to see if that's the case, for you to see if you want to work with us and do the job that actually is required, and for us to know if we want to work with you, the only way I know to do that is to bring people out and actually work with them in real time on a real thing that has stakes, right? If we don't do this right, these fish are going to die. To me, that's high stakes. So, yeah, I like the process too, and I've loved meeting everyone that's come out for it, and I wish I could hire everyone. Yeah, there's been lots of great people. All right. But I was glad to see, Kelly, that you landed somewhere with you landed at a decent place and all that. So I'm glad that you're doing all right. Hang on, I'm scrolling because chat jumped. Daniel McNamara. Hey, I've been kicking myself over missing out on the CW23 course, a bucket list fish for me. Any plans to get some more in? Yes, I'm definitely going to bring more in. As soon as the supplier has more available, it's going to be at least a month, maybe 2. But as soon as they do, I'm going to order another group because they blew my mind too. Like, they're fantastic fish and I want to get more. And man, they sold so fast. So I know that there's people that wanted them that did not get any before they sold out. So I want those folks to have some too. Orange cones. Any way you can get any Farwella Vittata in. Yes, yes we can, because we bought them from you. Orange Cone said it's the best batch of little Farwella catfish. Just got to get through their quarantine, and then we've got to find a moment to list them, and then they'll be up for sale because they're doing fantastic. I don't think we've lost any. They eat everything. Spinster Sister, do you know when your red tuxedo cauliflower high fin swords in, or perhaps koi sanke swords too? So we will have red tuxedo cauliflower high fin swordtails available within a few days to a week at most. Yeah, they're just about ready to go. And I'm also trying to get, I don't think they're sanke swords, but I do have some kohaku swords of the hyphen variety that should be arriving in the next few weeks. And I think there's only like 5 pairs available though. So I'll only be able to get a few. That's all the breeder has. And they should be ready. I should be able to get them in a couple weeks. And then I need a couple weeks for quarantine. So I don't have sankes, but I think I have kohakus coming. Just a few of those. But yes, the red tuxedos are doing well, and I think will be ready very soon. We also have some red wags of the cauliflower hyphen type that should be available pretty soon as well. In fact, we have some females right now, and they're the best. Like, that group is solid. Gardenmatic 81. Better get the ibuprofen out. Yeah. Okay, solve the issue. Siamese algae eater or... Oh, I think you're saying autosynclus. So first off, I skipped the ibuprofen and went straight to a heavy-duty muscle relaxer today because honestly, for most of the day I was like this. Like I couldn't move my neck better than this, and I had to turn my whole body. And so I'm sitting here typing. I had to scrub a bunch of tanks today. So I'm literally like this, like scrubbing tanks, because I'm trying to do a video. I'm trying to do a video on all these live bearers, like these red tuxedo cauliflowers and stuff. And about the vet we're working with and what we're doing with them and all that. But in order to take the video, I have to first scrub the algae off the front of the glass so you get a nice clear video, right? And the only way to shoot tomorrow was if I cleaned today. So this afternoon I finally broke down. I'm like, I just took a heavy duty muscle relaxer and trust me, I'm relaxed. But it really worked. Like the pain lessened by 70% within like an hour of taking that. And it's not like a narcotic. It's not hydrocodone or anything. It's a muscle relaxer, not a pain reliever, but naproxen, I think is what it's called. And it worked really well. But it's gonna wear off in an hour or two. And tonight might be rough. Trying to sleep when your neck's like super painful is, like last night was no fun. So anyway, forget ibuprofen, I'm going for the good stuff. I've got a guy, as they say. But Siamese algae or autosynclus, it depends on the situation. If you have diatom algae coating your glass and coating your rocks and all that, then autosynclus will eat that right up, and that's what I would go with. If you have lots of plants in your tank and you have hair algae and stuff like that, and they're all in little nooks and crannies, then I would go Siamese algae eaters. Whichever one I got though, I would get a group. I would get a horde of them and put them in there. That's when they're the most effective, and they really do like, they're a social fish. They really like being in a colony. So that's my thoughts. Each one's good for specific things. Rye Guy Outdoors. I've had since him, we're talking about the silver dollar that Rye Guy lost, I think. I did have him since he was a tiny little thing. People are just like, oh, it's like a fish, but they don't understand the time and effort it takes to raise them and keep fish. Well, and plus, you get attached to him, right? It's a little guy, and you raise him up, and you see the changes over time, and he probably interacted with you. He probably begged for food. He probably, I mean, it's not a dog or a cat that you snuggle with, but I get it, man. Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, I think most fish people have had a few special fish over their lives that it's like it really hits them when they lose that one. So I feel for you. Mitchell Broom, I have been using the term strategic neglect for years. Set up the tank and let them do their thing. Yes, don't kill them with kindness. Strategic neglect, that's right. Yep. Because it really is hard, man, when you get that fish that you really want. Then you become the overprotective parent. Yeah, for sure. Relax. Chill out. First class fish. Now I don't feel as bad. My clown killies died one by one, but there's one left. That one stayed very small. I hadn't heard before that they are hard to keep alive. That's the thing. They usually aren't. I've kept them and bred them and raised them in other places I've lived. In fact, lots of places. I've moved around a lot, before I moved here. But for some reason here, with this water, and back at my other place with that water, I can't keep them alive. So I think they're a hardy fish. I just think there's certain, in most situations, I just think there's certain, I don't know if it's water parameters or I've just got a funky mold in an aquarium, like a water mold that I never had somewhere. Like, I don't know what it is. I just said mold because that's what came to my mind, but some kind of disease-causing thing that every other fish is fine with, but for some reason clown killies are really sensitive to, and I never had in any other location I lived. Like, I don't know what it is, but I don't think they're a delicate fish if they're sourced right. I just think that for some reason, they don't like where I'm at. Fluffy Cow. Aquatics. How do I arrange for pickup in Sheridan with paying for shipping? Trying to purchase right now, I think is what you try to type. There's some real typos in there. So Fluffy Cow, email us hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com, and we'll give you the code to use at checkout. Oh man, gotta wet my whistle. Or do what Johnny said. Jag Trader, do black cories require special care? I don't think so. The Corridor Schultzi or the black Venezuelan cories, that's those muscle relaxers kicking in. No. Usually they're very hardy and do very well. We did have a couple issues with some of the ones we sent last week, so if you got some from us, I'm not sure what happened. They're doing great for us. I think there was a snafu somewhere in transit, but in general, I think they're pretty easy to take care of, provided you start with good stock. Dave Jones, are the veil-tailed panda cories different from long-fin cories? Will they school with long-finned? No, I think they're the same thing. I think it's two terms for the same thing. These have really long tails, and well, the other fins are long as well. I think that some people call them veiled and some people call them long-finned, but they should be all fine together and school together just fine. In fact, regular panda cories and long-fin or veil-tail cories will school together just fine as well. At least I've never had a problem with them. QJF Aquatics. Isn't adding fertilizer to RO water the same thing as adding remineralizer salt, which seems to be very expensive, about $1.50 per gallon? Well, QJF Aquatics, I know almost nothing about aquatic plant fertilizers, so I'm not the person to answer that. But there are some folks in the chat that know quite a lot about plants and fertilizer and all that might be able to chime in. But I'm an infant when it comes to aquatic plants. I only keep ones that I can't kill. If I can kill it, I don't order it again. I guess the good news about that is any plant you get from me is probably unkillable. Because if it survived me, it's going to do great with you. Steve Humphrey, first time chat, love your channel. Hey Steve, thanks. Thanks for participating. Was that long time listener, first time caller? Back from when radio was a thing. But thanks Steve, I'm glad you swung by. Okay. There it is, Leo209. The only issue the Flex 15 actually is keep heavily planted at the moment, then the 20 long. Okay, so if the 15 is heavily planted, then yeah, give that a try. Sure. That makes sense. A heavily planted 15 gallon is probably better than a 20 long that's just kind of bare. Yeah, I get you. Jacob Metzner. Do you find some fish really struggle with the high pH at your facility? My LFS reports some of the lower pH wild fish don't do well when they quarantine them. Now, I don't think pH has anything to do with it, to tell you the truth. What I think it is fish from black water, if they haven't already been acclimated long term, by long term I mean for a week or so, a couple weeks, to hard high pH water, can have issues. And the reason is, I don't think it has to do with the pH or the hardness directly. What I think it is in low pH water, in acidic water like any fish from black water has in the wild, right? Couple things. One, you don't have ammonia toxicity because at those pHs, ammonia is converted to ammonium, which is hardly toxic at all when compared to ammonia. So they don't have ammonia issues in those environments. So they have literally no adaptations for dealing with any ammonia toxicity. Like any exposure to ammonia will kill them like that. So that's number one. If they're going in hard water and any ammonia develops and isn't kind of immediately taken care of by a mature system or a lot of water exchange or whatever, they're going to die pretty quick. So that's one. Number two is there's very few pathogens that live in acidic water. So acid is literally an antibacterial, it's a bactericide, right? This is why we use vinegar to pickle things, for example. Or, yeah, I'll just stick with that example. So you take a fish from very acidic water where it hasn't been exposed to much in the way of bacteria or a lot of different pathogens. Then you put it in hard alkaline water where there's this whole ecosystem, this whole biome of bacteria and protozoans and stuff that this little fish from black water has never had to contend with before, has no immune system, and it's stressed from import, it's probably newly arrived, then of course it's going to break down. So you have to take care of them and adapt them to the hard water as far as supporting their immune system with proper medications or what have you, and make sure that there is literally no ammonia readable ever in that system, and you'll be fine. I've kept fish from super soft, super acidic water long-term in hard alkaline water many times with no problems, provided they were properly adjusted to that water and had a chance for their immune system to become, active and recover after the stress of import, and then it's not a problem. So I think it's simplistic to say that it was the pH killed them. Yeah, I don't think that's true. Laura Bustos. Dan will see your question if you add @Dan's Fish. Yes, I will. Betta Aquatics. You need to put @Dan's Fish. Okay, cool. Everyone's letting Meg know how it's done. Meg Elliott. There, you did it, Meg. What is the size difference between one of your jumbo bettas and a regular betta? The jumbo bettas are a little bigger, but they're still young. So they aren't massive yet. But the giants, I think they're called giant bettas, aren't they? Giant? Yeah, giant. I don't think we call them jumbo. Yeah. So the giant bettas is just a variety of betta that gets bigger. I think up to about 4 inches or so when full grown. So they're just going to grow bigger. Some of them are a little bigger now, but they're not huge yet by any means. Kayla's Aquatics and Reptiles throwing down a Pippi Longstocking super chat. Pippi has arrived to put some pep in our step. Thank you, Kayla's Aquatics and Exotics. Sorry, and Reptiles. It's changed a few times. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate your support, man. All right. Did we actually reach the bottom of the chat? Oh, no, we didn't. I just jumped. Hang on, going. I'm scrolling up to find the next one. There we go. Fluffy cow. Question got skipped. Do you find that the female or males influence the coloration and patterns in live bearers, swords, guppies, platies, trying to improve the color on a strain? I mean, I think it's both. I think it's easy to neglect the female selection a little bit because the male traits are usually what we're looking for, like in a swordtail, right? We want that long, perfect sword. But it's got to be both. Just pick the best of each that you've got and go from there. I mean, what more can you do? But she's contributing half the genes. There's no way it's not important. In fact, I've heard some very successful live bearer breeders over the years, several times, several different ones, mention don't neglect your female selection. Be very careful in your female selection as well as your male. So, let's see here. Benjamin Peters. Good evening, good sir. Is your lovely wife releasing a song tonight? Let's see. She was working on it when I left, but had run into some real technical issues. So, oh, she got it. Yes, she will. So, I told you that she was on tour a few weeks ago. And so this is a video of one of the songs she sang on tour. So that'll be kind of cool. It's a super difficult, one of the hardest songs ever written, I dare say. It's Handle, and it's from Hercules. Because she wasn't doing often when we hear her, she's doing little pop songs and stuff like that, right? Little songs from musicals, What a Wonderful World, like Before You Go by Louis Capaldi. Louis Capaldi's a nut, and I love that about him. He's endlessly entertaining to me. I love his interviews because he doesn't care. But anyway, this week, it's this one. This is Handel's Oratorio from Hercules. This is like serious music. So if you want to hear what my wife can do when she's in full professional concert mode, I mean, it's a video recording of it, so you're not getting the full thing, of course, but here's a link to it. We'll go there and listen to her in about 10 minutes. But it's a recording of her live in concert. Not the best recording, but, you know, you can't, what are you going to do? Thanks for asking, Benjamin. I had forgotten to check. First Class Fish, it's such a great name. Do those black Venezuelans from last live breed true? I don't know what last live means, but yeah, the black Venezuelans that we have should breed true. When do things go up on the site after the stream? I went on later that night and missed out on everything I wanted. So stuff does often sell out quickly, but the black Venezuelans, I believe, are there right now. Yeah, got 25 of them in. So we've got a group of 25 available if you want them. Okay, here's the next one. Oh, Rye Guy, some people just don't understand how you can build a relationship with a fish. I mean, people build relationships with plants. If you have like a prized rose bush that you've been spending years trimming and caring for and getting optimal, and then it dies on you, that's upsetting as well. Yeah, I don't know who those people are. The secret history living in your aquarium. Alexander, good to hear from you, my friend. Totally off topic, but how's your play doing? You know what? It got shut down from COVID, and then it was going to reopen, and then I got busy with this warehouse, and I have not kept up on it. So I actually need to check on that. I'm not quite sure. It wouldn't be quite fair to say it's my play. I was involved in its development, but it's my good friend and mentor, and just I consider the guy family. Mark Saltzman, it's his play. He's the one that wrote it. I just kind of helped him develop it and helped it on its journey, if you will. So new play development is my specialty in theater. So what my job is there is I work with playwrights and work with them on drafts of their script to get the script to the point where it's ready for production, and then I get it on its feet. Try to get people that can produce a Broadway show or a regional show in to watch it, and try to help move it on to that. That's kind of my role in the theater world. Don't have time to do it now, but I do love working with playwrights. They're awesome people. Do you acclimate or plop and drop? I plop and drop, although I call it temp and tank, just because I think people need to understand all we're trying to do is equalize temperature from the bag to the water in the aquarium. So temp and tank is how I do it. But plop and drop, we all know what that is. And you can do it however you want, but seriously, I have less problems when I just plop and drop, as you say. There's all kinds of things that can happen if you drip out, acclimate and stuff like that, but it has its benefits too. So you do you. The fish I send you will be tough. They'll be fine either way you do it. But plop and drop's the way I would recommend. I think you're less likely to have problems if you do that. Mandy Boyd, no way, Mandy, thank you. That is super generous. Mandy just gifted 5 memberships. My name is Nobody, Laura Boustros, Shady Grady, Scruffy City Aquatics, and DJ Seuss all became members because Mandy generously gave them memberships. Super helpful. Thank you, Mandy. Appreciate it. And Desert Fish, who's been a member for 7 months. Desert Fish, thank you. Thank you for being a member that long. That's helping make the dream come true. Thanks for my order. Flawless packing. Fish are lively. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. And with the delay this week, there were some issues, more than usual. That can happen when there's a delay, so glad to hear that yours did well. Anyone that had problems, we're so sorry. We do our best. Please email us with any issues. hello@dancfish.com, HELLO@dancfish.com. Oops, I just knocked my little mic off. We don't shy away from that. We want to help, so we're here. Johnny Best, what are your water parameters in all the tanks in the house? 300 parts per million KH, super hard, and I don't really check pH. It really doesn't concern me, but I think it's like 8.2 to 8.4 probably. So hard and alkaline. Temperature is 79, and it's constant flow through. Every tank gets 100% water change every 40 minutes to an hour. So there's literally untraceable ammonia or nitrites or in all that stuff. We don't have nitrates. But honestly, all I really care about is carbonate hardness and temperature. Well, and that it's fresh, clean water. Like that constant water change helps a lot. I think we can get really tied up in playing mad scientist, mad chemist, and there's all these parameters of water we could check. And I think if we get tied up in that and start adjusting for all that, then we create an unstable environment. And I think what's important is a stable environment. So TDS doesn't really tell me anything. KH does. I know that is calcium carbonate hardness, maybe a little magnesium in there or something. GH is pretty useful. So those things actually tell me something. pH tells me a little bit, but lots of the other parameters, like people tell me my TDS is this, and I'm like, that's great, but what does that mean? Do you have a ton of iron, or do you have a ton of salt, or do you have a ton of, because TDS is literally anything in the tank that has any kind of hardness to it at all. Could be organic matter, could be a chemical, could be calcium carbonate, could be potassium, could be magnesium, could be anything. So it doesn't really tell me much, but that's what I trace. I want to know hardness, and I want to know temperature. And by hardness, I mean KH. That's the one that means the most to me. Okay, we're gonna go ahead. Oh, we did the giveaway, so I don't have to worry about that. So I can take one more before I shuffle off to watch my wife sing. Jacob Allen, great show. What 2 fish do you recommend for a small fish room for profit? Any ideas or direction? I can give you some principles. Small fish, because then they don't take a lot of space and you can keep a lot, you know, in whatever space you have. Hardy, prolific, and expensive. That's what you're looking for if you want to breed for profit. Small, because you can get more volume in. Hardy, obviously, because then they'll do well for you and for your customers. Prolific, because you want to get lots of babies if you're breeding for profit. And expensive, because the more expensive they are, the more the market will pay for them, then the better the breeding for profit endeavor will go. If profit is the goal, then that's what I would suggest. There are lots of killifish that are prolific and hardy, and you can't find and command a pretty high dollar. So that's one I would look into. There's some very specialized guppies and endlers and wild type live bearers. Wild type live bearers is a good one. But yeah, those are the principles that I would make that decision by. One more. I can do it. Orange Cones loves the impulse sealer. Yeah, you become the king of plastic. You can make plastic bend to your will if you have an impulse sealer. All kinds of things become possible. I think that's it. We're going to shut it down, and I'm going to go over to listen to my wife sing this song. Like, if you really want to hear a professional singer just let loose, here's the link. I'll be there in 2 minutes. It starts at 8:30. So before I do that, let me sign off here. I want to thank my moderators. Thanks for putting up with everything you put up with and still being here volunteering your time. I really appreciate you guys. Members, thanks for being a member of the Fishmonger crew. Your monthly financial support means a lot to this little company and helps us fulfill our mission. And just knowing people care enough to be a member is just special. I really appreciate it. Everyone that threw money at us, thanks for the super chats. Much appreciated. Never required, but every little bit helps. If you were active in the chat, thanks for participating. If you are listening, if you're a lurker, hail the Lurker Nation. If you're listening on the replay, hello from the past. And if you're listening on the podcast, that means I finally got these loaded up on the podcast. Oh, I'm behind on that. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. I've got 1 minute to get over to support my wife. I hope to see you there. Her voice, I saw her on her tour, and I think it'll blow your mind. Bye-bye.